Welcome back to the channel, everybody. Today's video, we're going to be finally announcing what series we're going to be driving in this year, as well as all the changes that are going to be happening to the Formula Drift car. So this video is going to be more of a talky kind of updatey video, but it's going to be worth it because one, we're updating you on what series we're driving in, whether it's going to be just Japan or anywhere else, as well as what engine package and stuff we're going to be doing. I know you guys have been making a lot of guesses that we're doing an LS package this year, so we get to finally let you guys know about that, as well as the whole car's changing this year. As in not the car itself, like it's not going to be a different car, but it's not going to look anything like it does right now. And we have about a month to do it. So this is going to be great. So let's start things off with doing a little bit of a recap. Last year, my hardest year ever in competitive drifting. I saw probably the worst results that I've ever had, but they were also the best results that we have ever had, just because it forced me to learn so much about myself and dealing with ADHD and how to control my emotions and all that type of stuff. But then also I learned so much about the mechanics of the car and suspension and things like that to be able to get the car to feel how I needed it to feel. When we stepped up to J1, we knew it was going to be a very big learning curve. That big though, I was not anticipating, but throwing myself in the deep end really helped a lot, like a lot. The first couple rounds, I couldn't get the car to feel good at all. I had no idea where the car wanted to go. It was really frustrating. And that really came down to, we made a ton of suspension changes, not only just with like coilovers and stuff like that, but the actual like arms, knuckles and things like that, especially in the rear, and trying to learn and understand what the difference is, like what changes we made and how that actually affected the car was very, very difficult for me to kind of comprehend in my head and figure that all out. From there, obviously, it's hard to be able to go out and test these cars. Every 2 laps, it destroys a pair of tires, and that's like $1,000 down the drain, the fuel and everything else, all the consumables that add up when you're running a 1,000 horsepower plus engine package and everything. Like, it's expensive to do test days. So being able to go to a test day, do a couple laps, and then, you know, make a tiny change and then go back out and see how that feels. It was something that I just couldn't afford to do, but also at the same time, it was just a whole new thing for me. You know, we went from the FDJ2 car where this thing was making, you know, 750 to 800 to all of a sudden 1,000 plus. Not only that, we stepped up tire sizes. If you've ever learnt drifting on like small, tiny tires, and then you finally go up to, you know, from 16s or 17s, you go up to 18, 265s. The difference is insane, and that's the best way to explain how it felt when we stepped up to the 19 275s, and then the power as well, and then all the extra grip combined with all the different like suspension components. It was an entirely different car. You know, I was testing and adding new sway bars. There were so many changes that we had to make the car competitive for FDJ1 to be level with all the other guys, that it just left me and my skill behind, if that makes sense. The car was here and I was here. So trying to figure all of that out on top of just the car wouldn't go where I was telling it to. And that was purely just because we had the front end entirely set up wrong. But anyways, all of that aside, things really started coming together for us at the Okubuki round. We got the drifting simulator and everything from SimMagic, and that really helped me start to hone in and get really focused on driving itself and figuring out all the little, like, you know, mistakes that I was making, all the hand control problems and all that stuff. And then also, like, it actually helped me learn from a lot of the, I guess, repeating mistakes that I was doing, which was really, really good because I could watch my run and then try to mimic that run in the sim. And yeah, we'll get into sim stuff in a little bit, but that had a huge impact on my driving. And obviously we had the car feeling a lot better and figured out all the suspension problems. So we were able to, at Okubuki, pull it all together. And you saw that. We qualified, we did really, really well. I was having a great time, a lot of, I guess, excitement and stuff like that you guys saw in the video. But that was when things started making sense for us. And then unfortunately we had the engine trouble and we weren't even able to compete in the last round, which was the one I was really excited for because I put so much into training and getting coaching on that course, as well as everything else we had set up about the car and everything. I had a lot, I guess, expectations on myself to be able to do well there. And it sucked when we had the engine trouble, which is, of course, as you guys know, we did a full breakdown of the engine. It's no fault of anyone. It's just when you're pushing these engines to their limits, it's very common in pretty much every top tier drifting series I know of, normally halfway through the series, everyone's changing engines. It's just how it works. Engines kind of become a consumable when you're at this power level of competition. It's such a weird thing to think about that, like, you know, an engine that costs this much amount of money is a consumable, but I mean, it is what it is, right? Anyways, moving along, that's kind of like, I guess, the recap from that. I learned a lot from that, and going into this year, I'm sure you guys have been seeing on my Instagram stories, we've been training a lot on the sim, and that has changed so much about my driving that I can't even like comprehend and put it into words for you guys, but you'll see this year. The simulator has really changed me. I jumped on that thing when we first got it, and it was a struggle to feel comfortable on it. It took me weeks, months even before I actually wanted to like drive it. Like, you know, when you like, yeah, let's go, it's a track day, let's jump in the car, let's go drive. You know, that feeling of like actually wanting to drive. I didn't have that with the sim because I was getting so frustrated about not being able to link a track with it, because like, I know I'm not that bad in real life, but then not being able to do it in the sim, it was like teaching my muscle memory to not react by feeling or G's or anything like that, but by eye input only. So I would force myself every single day, 30 to 40 minutes of just doing the sim. Didn't matter how much I sucked or anything. Yes, there was a few times I may have gotten up in frustration and walked away because I was just so annoyed by it, but eventually it all paid off. Now it's a bit of a problem. I just want to keep getting on the sim, and I just keep jumping in random lobbies and tandeming with people. It's so beneficial and so much fun, but it took a long time to retrain my muscle memory. So taking that now and then applying that with everything that I've learned, I can really feel that it's gonna make a big difference this year, which I'm really excited about. It's time to talk about engine stuff. And this year, we got something really spicy. Something that I think has never been done before. I don't think anyone's ever run this type of engine actually in Formula Drift USA, but I don't know though. I just don't see anyone really using this kit in the USA at all. Maybe there's a reason for that, but I think they should be. Anyways, we're going with the Tomei powered 3.6 liter 2JZ. 3.6 liters of stroke. That's over 100 mil of stroke on the crankshaft. And that blows my mind and hurts a little bit to think about because that poor thing's going crazy in there, but that's what we're doing. More torque, more power. That's how it's gonna be this year. The reason why we decided to go with that is purely just because it made sense for us. Tomei powered is literally next door for us, and it just makes sense because we can just walk over there and carry stuff back. And with them fully supporting our engine program this year, it was a no-brainer. So that's what we're doing, a Tomei 3.6 liter stroker kit. I'm really excited to be running that. I think the extra torque is going to help a lot, and I'm really curious to see how it's going to hold out. As you guys know, we rev these engines pretty high. We put them through everything that we throw at them, and I'm just excited to see how it's going to handle. We've got the world's best tuner, I feel like, who knows these engines in and out, who tunes the 3.6 liter and every other car that's in Formula Drift Japan right now that has that same engine package, and there has been no failures. So that is something I'm really excited about. On that note though, we have a second engine as well provided by Tomei that we're going to be having that ready in case anything goes wrong. So that's like the main thing that I'm really excited about is engine package wise, we are 100% sorted, and we are also thinking about what could potentially happen and have that ready. My plan is also that we are still going to be halfway through the season, pulling the engine out and switching in the new one that we have spare, and then that engine that we've used for half of the year will then go to Tomei, and we will be pulling it down and going through and replacing the bearings and seeing if there's any kind of abnormal wear or anything like that, so that then that becomes the spare engine that's refreshed and ready to go. I'm also really excited about this because we're going to be actually next week going to Tomei headquarters and building the engine and filming and documenting the entire thing and uploading that as a vlog. So you guys are going to be able to come with me, and I'm going to learn how to build properly a 2JZ. Last time when I put that 2JZ together, you guys know I had like 48 hours to do it, and I had no sleep. Rudnick was here at the same time, so there's some bad juju coming from him, Rodnock, just going into it. You know what I mean? But you know what? I'm really proud of myself because I managed to build my first 2JZ, and it lasted pretty much the entire season. And the failure that happened wasn't even like, it was just we pushed the thing too far and that was it. Nothing else failed in it. So that was really, really kind of like cool. But there's definitely a lot of things that I did quick and dirty shortcuts that I need to learn how to do things properly. So that's awesome that we're going to be able to go inside, take the camera with us and film it with the top R&D guy and engine builder guy at Tomei and document that and share that with you. So you guys get to learn with me and we also get to see what Tomei does and why they're so special. So that aside, I'm excited for that. Transmission-wise, we'll be going with the G-Force once again, but I'm getting a brand new one that actually has reinforced gears and dog rings from RTS. That was actually really, really fortunate that one of my friends locally here had a brand new one in its crate box sitting on stock that he purchased before the yen crashed. So I was able to pick that up, which is really, really going to help us. We're changing our bell housing setup as well as our drive shaft. We'll be using a drive shaft Pro drive shaft, the same ones we use in all of our other cars, but this one hasn't had that treatment yet. So that's going to actually help position the engine a little bit better and stuff. Previously, we weren't able to take the transmission out properly without undoing the engine and all this weird stuff just because of how this car was built previously in Australia with engine placement, which is kind of crazy, but anyways, that's all getting fixed. That aside though, everything else is pretty much the same with the rear end. You know, we're going to be running the Winters quick change. I'm hoping to get a Bulldog or another Winters as a spare so that we have spares of everything. My main thing this year is I don't ever want to have to retire because we didn't have a spare, if that makes sense. At least one spare. You know, if we've got some kind of problem, we've just blown up 2 diffs back to back, then something else is at fault, and then let's go back, let's fix it and come back next round, right? But I never want to be like in that same situation where we had a bad motor and I didn't have anything to switch in. But that was also my first year. Our budget was very, very tight. Once again, our budget is tight, but I've been able to work things with amazing partnerships and stuff so that we can have a spare engine this year, which is awesome. One thing that isn't changing this year though is our tires. Once again, we have full support from Yokohama this year, which I'm really excited about. We'll be running the AD09 275 40 sidewall 19-inch tires in the rear with the 18 265s in the front. That setup really feels great on this car. How we have this thing dialed in last year with suspension and everything is perfect for that. So it makes a lot of sense that we just keep using that. Really excited to be part of Team Yokohama, obviously, and we'll be making some cool content revolving around that later on as well. Another really big change that I've decided to make this year is to do with our suspension, specifically our coilovers. After getting the HKS Hypermax coilovers for the Supra, I was really impressed with one, the quality and also the overall performance and feeling. It is completely unmatched. That aside though, with a ton of other recommendations from other drivers and stuff that compete in the same series, it was a no-brainer that I spoke to HKS and we decided to go with the HKS Hypermax R Series for the competition car this year. And I'm going to be working really close with them to fine tune it and do some custom valving and stuff like that, depending on the weight of the car, front and rear and stuff like that. And also they're going to be working with me and helping me understand truly how suspension works in the car and how to know when I need to make changes to make the car do what I want it to. So I'm really excited about that and I'll be bringing you guys along with me as well for that. But just know that we're getting looked after and I'm excited to be working with HKS once again in the Formula Drift Japan series. As I alluded to at the start, the car is going to be changing very drastically from the exterior point of view. It needs a new paint job and it's not going to be pink anymore, which I'm actually really excited about. It's going to be probably the first time a Yashio factory aeroed car is going to be in this color. And I think not only myself, but Okachan's really excited to see how it's going to turn out. That aside though, I wanted to talk to you guys about this. This isn't just my number. This has every person's name in here that privately sponsored our Formula Drift Japan program last year. And I think it's awesome that we're able to have a direct connection with you guys, and those of you that want to directly support us have the ability to do so. And we put it inside the number here so it blends in with the livery and kind of matches everything. I really liked how we did this last year, and a massive thank you to each and every one of you guys that did support us privately. I really appreciate it. If you do want to do so again this year, I have a link down in the description. Please go ahead and do that, but only if you are able to. This is not me forcing or kind of like saying that we absolutely need it. It is a way for you guys to directly be involved in my dream in competing professionally here in Japan, as well as potentially internationally. That aside though, once again, thank you to everyone from last year, and thank you to those of you that decide to do it again this year. On that note, if any of you guys work in any kind of company in the marketing division and you think that there's an opportunity for us to work with you with a partnership for any of our driving professionally, please shoot us an email or fill out the contact form on the website. We'd love to get in touch with you.
So, G40?
Oh, turbo? I don't think the embargo has been lifted yet on that. It'll either be a G40 or something else. Yeah.
G50?
No, not a G50. That's too big. That's LS category. LSs, I think, are like G45s or something like that. But anyways, yeah, turbo package-wise, we're going to be doing something, once again, that is super responsive. We may still go with a G40, but I'm going to be testing a few different types of turbo platforms, working with Garrett very closely on, and I'm excited to see what results they're going to yield. Being a 3.6 liter, we've got, 0.2 extra, 0.2 extra, my brain for a second, there's like math, Sam. We've got that extra engine capacity now. And, oh, wait, hang on. The whole point of my engine, I completely forgot. This is the first 3.6 Tomei stroker engine that's gonna be high compression. We went with like 10.5. That's never been done before. They had to make custom pistons for it. So we're not doing the typical 8.8. We've gone straight up to 10.5 at a 3.6 liter capacity. High compression, high capacity. I'm very excited to see how this thing's gonna perform, but that also means our turbo is gonna spool a lot faster than it did with the previous engine package that we had. So we have the opportunity to either go up a step or find something in between or find something entirely different that Garrett's been developing and working on. So I'm really excited to kind of see what's going to happen there. But yeah, just know that we're going to have a lot of fun this year with the R&D and the development of the engine drivetrain stuff. It's going to be a lot of fun. I wanted to do a little bit of a segment and show you guys my sim practice. This is the first time I'm sitting down, first lap. I've already loaded the file. The car I'm using is one of these custom cars that was built in Japan by like the guys that look after all the sim stuff for me here in Japan. It's the Good Ride A90 Supra. We've kind of tuned it and made it feel like my FD S15. Also, the position of everything, steering, handbrake, and everything here is identical to my comp car. So that really helps me get comfortable and used to that seating position and feel at home. Anyways, that aside, I'm gonna do a run right now on Fuji and just show you guys how well I've improved. This is my first lap, no warm up. Let's just see what we can do. All right, we're done. You guys can't hear it, obviously, because it's headset. I should probably have set up the speakers. But let's now rewatch this. This is literally my first lap sitting down. Before, it would take me forever to kind of like feel the car again and get used to the sim stuff. But now I can literally flick a switch and be in sim mode, which is really, really beneficial. But let's rewatch this and see how we did overall. Switch to cam 10. And we've been doing a fair few streams recently on my Twitch where you guys get to watch me practice and stuff like that. All right, so here we go. Oh man, I'm so excited. I can't wait till we also can build my own version of this car. Perfect on that zone, coming in here, perfect on that zone, coming in through, hitting the touch and go on the inner point, and then coming through, pretty much perfect. Little deep there, but pretty much on point, good style points. That's a really good run. For my first lap, sitting down, no warm up, no practice. And that's kind of like, I know there's so many people out there that love the sim and drive it all the time, but I've never been able to do this until recently. Consistently, always in the zones, putting the car where I need it to. And it's all, mainly it comes down to like me being ADHD and I can't learn by normal methods. I have to learn through doing it and repetition. And that's where the sim has benefited me like crazy because I can just nonstop keep doing it over and over and over again and figure out what works, how to do it properly and everything from this. And it's just great. So yeah, I just kind of wanted to show you guys that the progression is there. If you do want to watch and play with me, we do streams on Twitch and stuff where you guys would jump on like a public server and we tandem and all that type of stuff. But yeah, I'm really excited about what the sim has done for me and how much that's going to transition into real life when we start, you know, driving again this year. These headphones are kind of annoying me. But yeah, you get my point. All of that aside, guys, both May and I are really excited to be competing.
Stress.
Once again, yeah, stress is definitely correct. We're excited to be competing again in Formula Drift Japan J1 Series again this year to see how we go up against all the pros. And I think all the training, all the coaching I've been receiving and everything is all coming together and we're finally going to start seeing some good results. So excited about that, but also I'm excited at potentially working on driving internationally in a few other series. We're still trying to dial in the details right now, but I really want to try and make something work in the USA, and there's a few opportunities there for some series there, as well as some other places in Asia that I'm excited about. So that aside, like, comment, share, subscribe. If you want to privately sponsor the FD program, check out the link down in the description, as well as just go to the SAMMIT merch site and grab yourself some merch. I'd love to see you guys repping some of the new Supra stuff, but we'll see you guys in the next one. Like, comment, share, subscribe. Any advice, any tips, any criticism, always welcome down in the comment section. We'll see you in the next time. Peace.
It's the end clip.
This is kind of painful.